Hey, it's Fabienne. Today I want to tell you a story about failure and how failure can actually be one of the greatest things that can ever happen to you. This was probably around 10 or 12 years ago when my business was still called Client Attraction, and I was used to running a quarterly boot camp that taught people how to fill their practices very quickly. And I'd been doing it, for a couple of years. And honestly, I was getting a little complacent with my marketing and just kind of rinsing and repeating. And one fateful day, I launched the boot camp, and instead of having anywhere between 14 and 20 people in the program, I think I signed up 8. And it derailed me. It made me question myself as a marketer. It made me question my manifestation skills. They don't want it anymore. I'm not good at what I do anymore. And it really, I spiraled a bit, and I decided never doing this boot camp ever again. In a melodramatic way. And I didn't for quite a few years. And it's the thing that had gotten me to 6 figures and multiple 6 figures, in addition to the coaching that I was doing, the private coaching that I was doing at the time. So it was actually a significant part of my income. And I share this story because there was a point at which I started looking at, well, maybe it wasn't a failure after all. This is a few years later, and maybe there's something that I can learn from that. And maybe it was the universe's way of saying, okay, you can work with, 14 or 20 people, or you can work with hundreds. And maybe you should stop doing it the way that you're doing it now. And so I started looking at what worked, because there's always something that works, even in failure. And so what is it that worked about that boot camp at the time and how I was marketing? And what was it that wasn't working about the program or about the way I launched it and all of that? And I really spent some time looking at it and what would I do differently if I had the opportunity once again? And with that newfound knowledge, I relaunched it. And I was praying that it would work and that we would get, 100 people in the program. And because I wanted to, just help more entrepreneurs, and I wanted to have a greater impact and really just spread the love. And we ended up getting 300 members of the boot camp at that time. Tears of joy, like, oh my gosh, I haven't lost my mojo. It's good. But here's the lesson that I learned that I'm here to give you as your guide today. The lesson is no failure is truly a failure. Things that don't go well are not necessarily things you need to throw away forever. There is always a lesson to be learned in every failure, in every experience that didn't work well. There is richness there. There is richness in failure. And if you can just move your ego to the side, right? Like I did after a few years, just move my ego to the side and look at, okay, strategically speaking, what could I have done differently? How can I use this as a blessing to be able to learn from whatever mistakes and also learn from the things that went well? How can I use this as fertilizer for the next thing that I do? And that is how you create success in your life. Whether it's personally or professionally, it's really being willing to move the ego to the side, to learn from your failures and realize that there's richness there. So my inspiration for you for today is to look throughout your life, look throughout your business, and ask yourself, where is it that perhaps I've labeled something as a failure and never want to do again? And let's pick that up again and look at it and see what we can learn from that, and then relaunch whatever that was for success. That's my inspiration for you for today. I'm sending you all my love. See you next time.